today, this one was real enough to give its writer nightmares. Brace yourselves for Missile Command. Missile Command.
How did you even get into DJing? Like, where did that start? Were you an artist first, or did you kind of?
This is how it started. My first job was at a record store where I worked for store credit. I didn't actually get paid for the store. I would just you know, whatever money I made, I would just use at the store. And I started realizing at the time there was like a lot of stuff that I wanted to get that was only available on vinyl. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I just started buying it, and I didn't even have a turntable at that point. And then, you know, I realized that my dad had tons and tons and tons of records. I think any DJ is always going to be like, yeah, I went through my parents' record collection. It's always like, but it kind of was, it was like that, you know. It was almost like I had a little store in my basement. We would just have boxes and boxes of records in storage, so I would just go down there and like dig up whatever I found. So, I mean, I was pretty horrible at DJing back then. I didn't know what I was doing at all, but that's part of the learning process. And then like I mentioned to you earlier, I guess in college, that's when I started doing radio, and I was still kind of shaky with it, but we did that for a few years. And once I graduated, I took some quote-unquote normal jobs and was trying to figure out what I was going to do, but that was the one thing that I kept coming back to. And then, you know, about two and a half years ago, things were picking up for me, and that's when I met Chad, and the world opened up, and I was like, all right, you know, I think I might be able to do this for a living. So I'm not. It's been a crazy 2 years. It's been hard. I thought it was gonna be like, pow, like everything's easy from now on, but it's not really the case. But I'm glad that I've been trying it.
And what like could you pinpoint or put a thumb on like what's the hard part, or what's the part that's like, you know?
I think the hard part is sometimes people don't realize how much work it takes outside of the actual work part of it. Like, if I'm DJing, the gig is the easy part. It's everything else that goes into it that is the hard part. It's the practicing and the preparation and the networking and the phone calls and the emails and it's just, you know, you end up building a library of contacts and experiences that you have to constantly refer to. It's just like any other freelance job. You know, if you say you want to be a freelance graphic designer, you're gonna start off with no contacts. You're gonna just have to like really push your work like that. Eventually, if you're lucky, you'll get to the point where you have so much going on that you're gonna have to turn stuff down and refer it to, you know, say, hey, I have a buddy that can help you out with this. And so I guess ideally you want to hit that sweet spot where it's kind of a running machine. But then the problem is, and that's what I'm facing right now, when you realize that you're about to start going on tour, etc., what do you do with all the local contacts that you have? Because you might come back from tour and, you know, you've been replaced by everyone locally, so it's a shuffle.